Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik from Razor Emporium coming at you today for a quick product spotlight looking at the wonderful world of Merkur. Well, the year is 1896. Mr. Emil Hermes is getting his start in Solingen, Germany, and he is getting involved with making razors. And this is the turn of the century, guys. Camphy Brothers in New York, 20 years before this, had already been invented the safety razor, but not as we know it quite yet. There's no disposable blades. They're still having, basically little tiny sharpened straight razors put onto a handle and being held perpendicular. A lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance. Obviously, along comes King Gillette in 1903 with the whole advent of the disposable safety razor system. But Merkur has been part of this that long, guys. It predates even Gillette. And to see it still in the shaving world today, I think is really kind of a really cool hallmark, kind of a really cool throwback to the world of safety razors shaving and how they were there since the beginning. These guys literally have been here since the beginning, and they're still here now, still made in Germany. The ownership today is Mr. Ulrich Wiedhoff, and he took over control as of 2021. It used to be, and for the first, 70, 80 years of company history, this was a family business, and it was in the same family, and, sons and uncles, kept on running it, and then it got acquired by a separate family, I think in 1996, and this Mr. Ulrich now is in charge. But if you look at the models, if you look at some of these models actually really haven't changed since at least the 50s. I have a catalog that we'll have to show here, a 1950s catalog, and it is literally the same models. A lot of these, like the Progress, the 34C, the Slant Razor. And speaking of Slant Razor, the Germans are kind of definitely the pioneer of the Slant Razor. These guys love it, and they have a couple different variations up here. As you can see, the 37C, 39C, barber pole handle. Other really cool thing to note about these guys is they have been made in Germany. They're kind of same old world quality, right? And they're affordable, and I think they're everyone's first razor. I think if you've watched some safety razor shaving videos over the years, a lot of people talk about the famous 34C, right? And how it's everyone's first razor. It's the classic razor. It's the Goldilocks. It's not too aggressive, not too mild. This is definitely a brand it's a staple, and I think that it was actually my first razor. In fact, I'm having a hard time seeing. Oh, I don't want to knock them all down, but yeah, I think it's the 39 is the long handle. The long handle, classic, guard razor. That was my very first safety razor. I got it from Classic Shaving back in 2005, 2006. Pretty cool stuff. The fact that it's been around this long. These models, again, they do have adjustable models, so you can really turn up and down the efficiency, but I think that the classic guard here is definitely the Goldilocks. It's definitely everyone's first razor. And they even have, look at this, they even have like little travel ones too. You can throw in a little leather container, little case here, accessory kit. If you're going traveling, that's a pretty cool way to travel in style. It looks pretty snazzy as you throw this in your dot bag, not too shabby. Whichever one you choose, I think you're gonna have a good experience. Now, some people may say that they are not, built for decades and decades of use, and there could be maybe something to that. These are made out of zinc alloy heads. I think the handles are mostly brass, but the heads are zinc alloy, and then they are all chrome plated. Over time, sometimes people can have experiences with the threads. I would just say in general, with any of these razors, that you should leave them unassembled to at least dry out. Make sure this is nice and dry. But I think if you take care of it, I've seen these razors, they can last a long time. You just have to give a little bit more TLC and make sure they're dry. The water is the enemy of these guys. So do that, and you should be in good shape. Whichever model you choose, you are choosing a classic. It's like riding a classic hot rod. It's like driving in a classic, Mustang or Camaro. It is a classic, and this is a German classic. Merkur. If you didn't already know, some people say it Merkur, and I know where that comes from. If you ask a German to say it, they're going to say Merkur, Merkur, Merkur. If you have any doubts in the pronunciation, I'm sure one of our German listeners will tell us down here. I don't think it's Merkur with a long O sound, but I think it's Merkur. Anywho, what is Merkur? It's Mercury, right? And this is a Roman god, right? And it's because the founder's name was Hermes, but Hermes was the Greek god, the messenger, so he chose Mercury or Merkur as the Roman equivalent. A lot of other people were using the name Hermes in Solingen at the time, so he wanted to differentiate himself. But that's where the name comes from. That's why this guy's on the front. So, and they even have blades. I was actually just looking at this now. Their blades are made in the Czech Republic. I know I just had blades made in the Czech Republic. I'm wondering if they're using the same contract manufacturer. That's interesting because I thought these were made in Germany. They may have moved it recently. Yeah, the company has had some change-ups. At one point, Merkur and Dovo straight razors were one company. As of about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that did split and they became two separate companies. And now even Dovo has its own line of razors and Merkur still is rocking its razors. So you may see some other changes as things develop with Merkur being on its own in Solingen, Germany. That's all I got. I've used Merkur many times on camera here, so I don't need to bring it back for a shave, but I think you should check it out, especially if you're looking for a classic safety razor, the Goldilocks experience. You don't know where to start. So many different models and makes out there. You cannot go wrong with one of these guys. And back to the whole longevity. Guys, if you're going to get involved with safety razor shaving, you are not going to have just one razor the rest of your life. You're going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. You're going to own 2, 3, 4, 5. It's part of the fun. And if you take care of this guy, it should last for decades. It really should. That's all I got. Check out Merkur if you haven't already done so. Leave me below the comment. If it was your first razor, I want to hear from you. Tell me below in the comments. That's all I got. And we'll see you next time at Razor Emporium for all things vintage shaving.